gentlemen, I'm here in a brand new Sludge Underground episode, and I am with Yusuf, aka Vampire Slumber Party, and I'm super excited to have a chat with him. And he recently dropped an album called Funeral Pop, some solid 10 tracks on there, and we're going to be expanding more on that and him as an artist, overall. He also moved, he is South African. He moved to the UK or England, specifically South London, and super excited to also get to know more about the logistics of that move. So let's just look at that point, man. You moved from South Africa to England. What sort of inspired that move for you? Why did you leave South Africa?
The thing is, I was born in London originally. The first move was actually moving to South Africa, and then grew up in South Africa. And I always kind of, I don't know, I always kind of wanted to move back in the end, and it just kind of happened. I just, without too much planning or thinking about it, and then just the opportunity came up and moved here.
And obviously being someone who is, a musician, you've been in bands and you're making music, as Vampire Slumber Party, how would you sort of compare, or how do both music scenes sort of compare, when you're looking at the South African music scene and you look at the music scene arts in South London?
I'd guess there's just a lot more going on here, really. Like compared to where I was in, I don't know what it's like nowadays, but I don't know. Like in Durban, there was just a couple of places you could play, and you kind of knew everyone in the scene, kind of thing. It's a very small and kind of connected type of scene. Whereas here, you can go out, you can just discover something new, like you didn't know about, like all the time, and you can go there and not see anybody's face that you recognize, all over again.
Yeah, dude, it really does sound like, it's a lot. There are a lot more options that side, and you're right in saying, down here, there aren't many options. I don't know which places were still operating while you were still down here, but I did notice in one of your music videos, which you're also going to be expanding on, some footage of you guys playing at the Winston, which is still there. But many of the others that were around, man, they just they're no longer there. It's literally just been people, that have had to sort of make their own gigs at different venues. But I'd obviously like to think that with the fact that there's so many options that side, your experience as a musician has been a lot better that side. Would I be wrong in saying that?
No, I'd say this is a lot more, like, I mean, bands I've been in, there's a lot more, like opportunities, and you can kind of, you can play kind of more regularly, more easily than in Durban. Like you say, the Winston, that was like an institution when I was there, and Burn and stuff like that. But I know Burn's not around anymore, and the Winston just keeps going. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, they took a bit of a hit during, the pandemic and stuff, but with gigs sort of opening up now, let's hope that, they'll also be back in sort of full swing. I just want to, focus on obviously the album Funeral Pop. As I said, a solid 10 tracks on there, man. Well done to you. And that dropped on the 9th of September. So what I noticed was leading up to the release of, the album, you gave us, three singles that you also put up on YouTube in the form of like music videos, the likes of, Meet Me at the Exit. You also had, I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head. I think it was Northern Lights as well that you dropped. And Now Repeat After Me. Was this planned as in like, okay, I'm first going to release, these singles and then sort of follow that up with the album? Or was it sort of like, let me just release music, and then you sort of decided, hey, hang on, these are actually like dope, let me put together a whole album or something? How did you sort of build up to that in the way that you did?
No, it was a plan, I guess, because I've done it. I've, like, in the different bands that I've been in, we've kind of like a few experiences of like releasing stuff, and I guess these days, with attention spans and trying to keep people interested in stuff, like, so I had the whole album. I didn't want to just put it all up in one go type of thing. I just wanted to kind of drag it out a little bit, so I did a single, and then another single, like you said, and another single, and then eventually did the whole thing. Because there's another band that I was in, Crash Island. This was like more of an indie band. We had guys in the band, and we kind of had like these type of approaches. Like in South Africa at the time, it was like impossible to get played on a radio or get played. I guess it's a lot different now with digital radio and a lot more opportunities there maybe. But here you can you can send stuff in and send it around, and there's always a chance that you can get heard by someone, you know, and even internationally. I guess now it's a global thing, really, because you know you can just get your stuff on Spotify and you can look on your plays and you're getting played in Finland and stuff like that, you know, which is can happen in South Africa too. So it's like a different world, really.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, Crash Island there. You mentioned, obviously, I mentioned Paper Jets, and you mentioned that, you took a lot of, or you learned a lot of the things, from or during those bands in terms of, how to release, the music and make it last longer and whatnot. In terms of now sound, are there any sort of elements that you may have taken from Crash Island and Paper Jets that we can hear, within Funeral Pop?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, with Crash Island, in the end, I was playing like bass and drums, and I guess yeah, there's a lot of my influences come across like that. Mostly, it was just kind of like stuff I've been playing on my own, and like back in South Africa, I was in a band called the Tubby Wilsons, which was like probably the closest to this, where like I wasn't just playing drums, and that was kind of the band I started with a friend of mine and two friends of mine, and we that was me on bass and lead vocal. So that was probably yeah the closest to this going back kind of thing. But yeah, that's definitely an influence from each band.
Yeah, it's really dope that you have some stuff that you pick up from, the older bands that you're incorporating into the project that you got going now. With the music videos, there's obviously a music video that you got up there on YouTube for Meet Me at the Exit. And I saw, as I say, I think that's the one where you had, one of the scenes and there was you guys jamming at the Winston, and that music video, you sort of fused, a lot of different elements, some live performance on stage. I saw some gaming footage in there, some animation, all that. Who sort of drove that sort of direction, for that music video?
The video that's just me trying to make a video with like stuff I had basically, on a budget kind of thing. So it was pretty much just yeah going through old gig footage I had on my computer of me in different various bands and stuff. Like one of them's even like the first show I ever played. That was at the Old Burn in which was around the corner from the Winston back in the day.
Yeah, did you really did a solid job, piecing that together? Because even with, some of the filters that were used, I don't know if it's even called filters anymore or grading or whatever it is, you've got that sort of vintage, old school kind of feel. In a hindsight, as much as you put everything together, as you say, on a budget, is there any sort of other music video that was that sort of inspired you in a way, or what did you sort of that sort of visual approach that you had there, what is it very much inspired by? As I said, there was some games in there. Are you a gamer? There
Yeah,
was some
well,
animation and all that there. Yeah.
the games was also just trying to make it more interesting, and then that's obviously like old retro games I used to grow up playing, like Echo the Dolphin and all those old classic Sega Mega Drive games, Gunstar Heroes. So yeah, I was just trying to jazz it up a little bit, and I guess inspired by bands that I grew up watching. They have done that kind of thing where they just like it's like a piece together, almost like found footage style video. I guess like a collage or something, like a live thing. And then because the first video that I did was I just only did old cartoon footage. So that was during lockdown, and I put that one up because I just made it myself with classic cartoons like 80s and 90s cartoons. But it was more like just trying to make something interesting with footage I had at hand.
It's something that I can relate to as well because I'm pretty much a gamer. Like I really enjoy, like when I saw that, and I think anyone who is a gamer and is into sort of retro gaming would see that and have something that they sort of that connects them to that music video and what you did, bro, and bring back that nostalgic sort of feeling. So props to you for
Yeah,
getting that together, dude. You really pulled it off well. And another music video that you also dropped on there was more of like a lyric video
yeah.
for Now Repeat After Me, which is my personal favorite of the singles and within the album as well. And it's fast approaching 400 views. Congrats on that, by the way, man. Did you ever expect that it would reach those heights before releasing it?
I guess since I've been doing this, I kind of like I follow a lot of other people on the social medias that are in a similar situation where they are doing their own music and sort of playing everything and putting it out there. And I guess it's hard not to compare yourself to them because everyone says don't compare yourself to someone else. Just compare your own, like, you know, if it's good for you, that's cool. You don't need to like compare. So it's hard because a lot of people put up posts like bragging about much bigger numbers. So it's just like I'm stoked that it did. That video was quite a that one I did with like a green screen. I actually bought a green screen, which is sitting in the cupboard right now. I haven't used it much since those two videos.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really appreciate how despite, or not even despite, when you keep mentioning, you're doing it on a budget and stuff. But the main point is that you're still doing it. Someone could have looked at other music videos that probably, where lots of money was spent to sort of make those music videos and could have been like, oh, I'll just wait till I've got all the equipment or something. But you just decided, hey, I'm gonna use what I have. And I think, even with the numbers, when you're talking about numbers and stuff, 400, bro, if it's an organic push, I think a lot of the time we are misled when we look at, bands that are already established or musicians that are already established. You have a following. We've been doing this for years and stuff, and that they also had to build up, to that point. And you'll always get other people who are out there buying streams and all that. Then you look at those numbers and you look at yours and you're like, eek, you get a bit demotivated. But at the end of the day, dude, it was 400 organic, actual human beings that actually clicked and watched the music video. So to me, like, I don't know about you, but 400 or close to 400 is massive, bro. Like, if you had to have 400, or let's say maybe 380 people come to a gig, that's a success, man. I'd say.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so props to you for being able to start, something from scratch and actually get these kinds of numbers. It's really, I think, an indicator as well, to the fact that people are actually listening and they recognize that you're doing something dope. And as I said, when I mentioned this track and the music video, and that it was a lyric music video, you obviously mentioned the elements of having the green screen and there, but there were some interesting, sort of lines that you threw around in there that sort of indicates what the song could be about. Like the line where you say, howling winds mean nothing because of the light that you're shining. A line like, how could I have ever known that I would fall apart? How could I have ever known that you steal my heart? So I automatically thought to myself, okay, Yusuf is talking about a significant other here, or a partner, and whatnot. Is that the case? What would you say the song was intended on being about?
It's actually not a significant other, but it is a special person, like a person who makes you realize it's not all that bad. It's worth trying to find the good things and focus on that type of thing rather than all the negative stuff that we just kind of fed all the time. So it's definitely about a special person who inspires you to caught you off guard, and now life's a lot better kind of thing in that respect. So I just tried to put all the lame stuff on hold and focus on that, rather more like a mantra, like every time you're feeling overwhelmed or focusing on the negative stuff, and then you repeat this message after me and try and focus on that.
So instead of being sort of, or focusing on one, like a particular person, that have made you feel like that in your life, it's sort of like just for everyone, that one person that everyone may have that makes them feel like, things can always be better type thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's for a specific person for me, but like it could be for anyone. Yeah, like I didn't want to like just like pigeonhole it to like exactly what it's about, but it's yeah, it's like if you find that, whoever finds that person, whoever it may be.
That is very beautiful, bro. And there's a line there that's very interesting where you say, and I know I can do better. I'll fix myself. So what are you sort of referring to there? And just before you answer as well, I gotta commend you on being able to open up like that. Because a lot of people wouldn't really admit to having things that they want to fix, when it comes to themselves and flaws and whatnot. So with you, what was this, talking about? Like, what was this line about?
It's just kind of like trying to do better and not from various things, like just stupid things, like maybe getting angry with people on the bus, just random stuff like that, like stupid stuff that, you get like all pissed off, maybe some like vices that you want to try and kick, or some like just improving, get healthier, like not let all the stupid things that are going on turn you into this person that's like just so angry with everything. It's kind of like like I said, like a mantra to just like try and not be that kind of like negative person, and let all the stuff weigh you down and take it out on other people and all that, just like try and do a better job. I mean, I'm not saying I've done it yet, but I like trying, and that's like how that song is meant to be an ongoing, like you see the light and you want to improve, and you should, and you just trying your best kind of thing.
Nah, dude, as I said, that is, my favorite track on there. And I really hope, I think even in the end, if we could play out with it, that is my special request. Just so people can also familiarize themselves, with the sound, that you're pushing. Another thing that I noticed in the music video, which is the last point, on the track is, you pretty much playing all the instruments. I saw you playing the bass in there, you playing, the drums in there and everything. Is this sort of like what or who, Vampire Slumber Party is now? Are you sort of like a one-man band type thing? Or is it sort of, am I completely wrong?
Yeah, that was kind of how it happened, and I kind of how it is. Recently, I've started jamming with two other people to try and turn it into a like a live action project as well. So like on the recording, it is like I played everything on the recordings. So yeah, one person band there, but yeah, like the goal is to kind of turn it into a band that can play live. But like mostly of the bands that I've been playing in here, I like, because I'm in another band as well where I'm playing drums in the bands, and then we get the shows and all that kind of stuff. Whereas this one is going to be like, my baby kind of thing, like that I need to. So we'll see how that goes. I had a jam a couple of weeks ago and got another one next week. So hopefully that's where it's headed, as far as like turning it into an actual band with other humans and playing live.
Yeah, dude, it's really dope that you've got gigs lined up as well, and that you've got two other people that have joined you for the time being, which is really solid. What is sort of next for you guys, as a band, if it's going to turn into that, like a full on three-piece thing, what are the plans? You obviously did mention that, you guys have a potential gig coming up. What else can we sort of expect? Maybe a follow-up, to Funeral Pop, being a three-piece, or, what are the future plans for Vampire Slumber Party?
Yeah, I'd say hopefully some kind of follow. I mean, like it's gonna be, because I've got other songs as well that I've been working on since the album came out, and I guess like if we did if it works out with these two other people and this turns into the band, then I'm gonna have to sort of like hand over, like, you know what I mean, like maybe that drummer is going to play the drums on the next recording, and that, so that's going to be quite an adjustment, but I guess that's the way I want to go. So it already, like when you play live, like just from doing it once in the band room with these other two people, the songs already like change quite dramatically, because like on the recordings you can, like I'm playing like often there's two guitars, like there's lots of stuff layered in, and like some extra bits here and there, but it's a lot more like energetic and raw live, which is quite cool and quite exciting actually. So I think that could be quite a cool change that happens, more band than one guy like doing everything on his laptop kind of thing.
That's a very, very solid point, man. The future looks really bright and exciting, for Vampire Slumber Party, which brings me to the name, actually. How did you sort of, come up with that name? What sort of inspired it? And when did you actually start Vampire Slumber Party?
Well, I kind of, like when I first moved to London, I did my own songs on my own while I was like looking for bands, and I guess I started it then. It was about 2013 or something like that. I did like a small, like even more budget, like a EP type of thing. And the name was, I guess I was always like up really late. Like most of the time I would do like all the stuff I'd do it, like I'd come home and start it really late and then finish it like, sometimes you're mixing a song and then you're like, oh crap, it's like 4 a.m. kind of thing. And you're still listening to the song over and over again. So the name was kind of like meant to be like a vampire slumber party would happen during the day kind of thing, because vampires sleep during the day. So yeah, it was like meant to be like a party going on when it shouldn't be going on kind of thing.
Now you put things into perspective there, man. It really makes sense, with how the name came together. And something else that I noticed, we almost at the end, is that in the actual, album, Funeral Pop, one of the things that is credited in there on the metadata is hypothetically records. Tell me a bit more about that.
That's just what I called it, because like if you get your music on all these platforms through like I use this service called DistroKid, and if you don't make up something, you credit it to like 0018887 DK Records or something like that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted something a little bit less, and I've I've had this hypothetically thing around for a while. Like I had a blog with a website on it, and now I've got this like vegan food profile that's called hypothetically. So I just thought I'd stick with that. It's kind of me basically like trying to say hello but in a pathetic way.
Do you think this could build up, into being an actual record label like that manages or is the masters to, all your tracks and all that? Or was it just like let me just, put this out there for funsies?
Yeah, I kind of in the back of my mind thought about it because like it would be cool. I could definitely, if somebody new is like, and putting stuff out, I definitely would be interested in giving some sort of like direction or tips, because I don't know. I guess maybe it's not. I take it for granted, but I kind of know a lot of stuff about getting it out there. But I mean, obviously, other people do too. But then you see other bands who maybe they don't quite have all that. And then maybe there's stuff just on like Bandcamp and SoundCloud and stuff like that. And so maybe there's an opportunity to do stuff like that. Like I did when I wrote it and created it on Spotify and all the other streaming platforms. I did in the back of my mind think it would be cool to, maybe do that for someone else as well.
Yusuf, I can't thank you enough, man. We're at the end of the show, and I really just want to thank you for joining me and talking to me about Vampire Slumber Party, your previous projects, the album. Obviously, with future plans, we have already mentioned that you guys have got, gigs that are lined up. So I'm pretty sure people can see those, on the socials in terms of when they're going to be coming up and future plans in general on their Funeral Pop is already out as well. So with us knowing, what's sort of coming and what to expect, from Vampire Slumber Party, are there any parting words that you want to give the people before you then plug your social media handles?
Check out the music. Give it a listen on all the different social platforms you can. Support independent artists. Like it always, there's this. I saw a meme about this recently about how people will always like sort of on socials are very quick to kind of support. It was something about calling them the blue ticks, like the big official people. Like if it's a celebrity, people are just so much more likely to kind of share a post. But if only you supported your friends like you supported the celebrities or something like that. So
Hey, solid, bro. And where can people sort of find the music, which platforms, and also where can people contact you and follow what you're doing on social media?
I think it's pretty much on everything because it's even on like all these. I don't even check up on them because I don't have them. But it's obviously on Spotify and Apple Music and all that. But it's on Deezer and Tidal and yeah, like some I've never even heard of. And Vampire Slumber Party you can find on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
With Sludge Underground on every single platform, we are at Sludge Underground. And obviously on Twitter, we are at Sludge031. Catch the episodes on Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcasts. We are Sludge Underground Podcasts on there. As for myself, it's at Zwane031. It's been an awesome chat with Yusuf about Vampire Slumber Party. And as I said, personal favorite of mine off the album would be Now Repeat After Me. So we're going to be playing out with that one. And thank you, for tuning into the episode. Until next time, it's bye for now.
Crashing on the waves, I was thinking like a stone. Now stone.